Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Some more. This is Politics with Laura here. Just when you think you have a handle on what's going on with Trump, you lose sight quickly. Now, Trump campaigned heavily on the Jeffrey EpiPen files being released. And he campaigned hard on that. And there were politicians who campaigned with him to have those files released. And you had
Mommy, because I thought we were supposed to conserve it.
hey, this is big girl. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who fought for that, right? And even when Trump flip-flopped on whether releasing them or not, she still stood behind him. But however, she made promises to her own people. And this is where Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump comes to a head and sort of like poof, explodes. Now, last month, what was it, on the 10th? Last week, Marjorie sided with the Democrats and three other Republicans, along with her making a fourth, to have enough votes to push it out. And that happened. And President Trump was like, wait a minute. No. I said it. Yeah, I did say it. I did. But did I mean it at the time? No, I didn't mean it at the time. I said it, but I didn't mean it. Stuff like that. And it got to be too much flip-flopping to where you had his core base of content creators who jumped ship, like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. The one that really went completely off the handles was Nick Fuentes. Candace Owens, she didn't go off the handles, but Nick Fuentes did. He put in a lot of work. He was banned by different social medias for his, shall I say, extreme conservative views. He's a self-proclaimed white supremacist, racist. He calls himself that. And once he did not, meaning Trump, fulfill his promise, Nick Fuentes went after him, called him a fat pig. He's a liar. He's not a real conservative. MAGA is dead. Everybody came together based on Trump, and Trump is no better than Biden or the other liar presidents, according to him. Marjorie Taylor Greene did what she said that she was going to do to uphold it. Now, when Marjorie Taylor Greene did that, she was ostracized. Trump going after her the way he did. MAGA start giving death threats. MAGA, come on now, MAGA. I don't know why you did that, because everybody knows that everybody who voted for Trump wanted the EpiPen files to come out to deal with the little's problems that we have with H-car trafficking, whether if it's boys or girls, and it's mostly boys. So for MAGA to be so short-sighted and to turn on Marjorie Taylor Greene for the promises that she made, so much so to where she said she had to get security. Now, this is interesting because as Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I need security. They're threatening me, my construction business, my family's getting threats. And it had to shake her enough. But as this was going on, Jasmine Crockett, she took the mantle and started really wearing Trump out, because she said, look, I said that I was getting death threats. Nobody believed me. They're like, oh man, be quiet, black lady. We have black fatigue, black fatigue. And the fact that people are using this term and have no idea what it means. They just use it because black people, and I'm tired of black people. Well, if you're tired of black people, you came to the wrong country. You did. But however, she said, I needed what do you call it? Security too. So now you have a white woman who needs security, and all of a sudden it's like you're falling to the knees. Any woman, any congressperson that needs security should be taken seriously. But to allow it to fall at the wayside is a problem. But however, Trump did that. He did that by saying that she was a traitor. She let MAGA down. She let me down. Who knows what's wrong with her? And he really went after her, and MAGA was used as a guided missile based on the promises that Trump said that he was going to uphold. He said that. And she, meaning Marjorie Taylor Greene, was penalized. And it got to the point so much so to where she said, I gotta resign. I really have to resign because this is getting to be a way too much. But we're not going to hear it from my perspective. No, let's hear it from Marjorie Taylor Greene's perspective. All right, this is what she has to say. This is from the BBC.
I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
She said a lot. She said a lot. And she called out many people. And she is right, because there's a lot of special interest going on in the Trump administration. Now, we don't want to believe that. We don't want to say, hey, that right there isn't true, when we know it is. We have Benny Ben Netanyahu. I mean, that right there's a big one. And then we have Zelensky. That's a big one, but he eased up on that. And now he's dealing with what's going on with France and Macron. Macron is saying that, oh, I got Trump. Oh, I got this. I got him, well, not in a bag, but, not exactly in a bag, but it's something to most definitely pay attention to. So here. Now, there has been a fight between the U.S. and in Europe. And the U.S. basically has, dare I say, maybe temporarily taken over Europe. And as far as what the goals are, let's take a listen right here.
Meeting is obviously the biggest, but Francesca, the president, saying, you know what, he could stay even longer, maybe. Take a listen.
I'd love to meet with him if he'd like to meet. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. I liked him. He liked me. If he wants to meet, I'll be in South Korea. I would love to see him. If he wants to, if he even gets this message. We haven't mentioned that anybody knows I'm going over there. If he'd like to meet, I'd love to meet him.
President Trump on Air Force One saying he would meet again with Kim Jong-un. He does do these.
Now that is interesting because President Trump was talking about the tariffs, and if he goes up one, I'm going to go up higher. And now Trump had to undo his tariff policies. I don't know. I didn't see the backlash of that, but I most see it at the grocery stores and the gas prices. So I'm glad that he's undoing that policy that he created. But here, Emmanuel believes that he could manage Trump. Good luck on that one. In a private conversation with European counterparts early in Trump's first term, Macron reportedly boasted that he could handle the American president, flattering him, reasoning with him, and to keep him side with the West fold. For a time it worked, but Trump was treated like a red carpet. The Bastille Days parade in Paris, and called the young French leader a great friend. So, is this it? No. But now we're at this. Trump swipes at weak leaders who highlights the shifting global influence of the West nations. Now, Macron said, "Oh, I got this. I got this." Really? So here, Macron sparring with Trump is more than a personality. It's projection. Each clash phone call equipment feeds with larger missions. To show the European can act like a power again. Keep in mind, the U.S. has been sitting over Europe. It's quite interesting to see it. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. But as Trump reasserts America first, Macron is trying to define what Europe first might look like. I find that interesting right there. As an ally that can stand up to Washington, Moscow, or Beijing without flinching. Well, that's not going to happen if America is not defending Europe. Because if you think the United Nations is going to defend Europe, the United Nations cannot even defend itself, right? So that right there is going to be an issue just on its own. So Europe cannot flex against Russian waters because they supply them with all their oil and gas, because Europe is not heavy with natural resources. No, it's not. It isn't. Other countries, Africa has the most natural resources around the world, and the French nation, and you have European nations that still have African colonies that they still use and still bleed them dry. But the fact that Europe is even struggling, you have to look at them sideways like, what are you doing? Are you dancing the night away, right? So, as Trump reasserts American first, Macron is, trying to define it, without Moscow. Now, while the U.S. plans to boycott the 2025 G20 Leaders Summit because South Africa is hosting the Macron visiting Johannesburg, a sign of his willingness to go where Washington won't. Interesting. Early in the week, the Ukrainian president, Vladimir Zelensky, and Macron signed a deal for Kyiv to buy 100 French Rafale jets, Rafale jets instead of U.S. Made fighters and move the underscored France push for European defense autonomy outside of the American manufacturing at a politically sensitive moment. Interesting. So when JD Vance said, hey, we're going to pull back because you've been abusing us, abusing our kindness for a weakness. And that's exactly what has been happening. And now, the U.S. is like, look, we're, fine. We're tired of it. We're pulling back. Now, France is like, okay, well, we need to do more. And they have been. And now they came up with 100 French Rafale jets. I don't even know what that is, but so here, Zelensky slaps the face of a nation that saved him from his former rep, Mike Garcia, a U.S. Navy fighter pilot. After receiving nearly $180 billion in American aid, includes free aircrafts. Oh, Zelensky turned to the others when it came time for Ukraine, ukulele country, to actually pay for the weapons system. Oh, they're trying to keep from paying. What is that? A dine and dash? Zelensky, is that what you're doing? Dining and dashing? Come on, Trump. Come on. So before that, Macron recognizes the Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly. However, the U.S. objections, prompting Trump to accuse him of honoring Hamas, as if to encourage continued conflict. That is interesting. Some of this body is speaking to unilaterally recognizing a Palestinian state. Trump said during his UN assembly address. That right there is really something. Somebody bit Trump. Somebody had to bite him for him to come out like this. But Trump repeated his float. The prospect of purchasing Greenland from Denmark draws another wealth of oil and minerals locked deep into the ice in the Antarctic defense positioning. This is interesting. Ukraine has always seen himself, or Macron has always seen himself in the European context. Okay, where was I? What just happened? It's a warning. Assembly. Okay, Greenland shows a European symbolic warning that Trump to set back his long-term or to step. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Macron has always seen himself as a European context, as a European leader, or as a leader of European defense efforts. And Liana Fix, a senior fellow for the European at the Council of Foreign Relations. This is weird. Has moved, and she said, to assert European autonomy at the time seemed designed to remind Trump that America no longer dictates every script. Now, this is interesting because there's a back and forth. Now, whatever leverage Trump had, he's losing it. Now, he said, hey, Europe, we're tired of helping you. Help yourself. And now that they are, now Trump is trying to reinsert himself. He did that. He did that. So he caused a lot of issues, a lot. So with all of this going on, ostracizing Marjorie Taylor Greene, having MAGA go after her, and that's exactly what he did. MAGA, stop it. Stop doing that. Follow the plan and not the man, okay? Trump is a great salesman. He is. He is. Did he do a lot for this country? Yes, he did. But right now, he's making some big blunders, and you need to stop and take a look at the blunders that he's making. And going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like, hey, I put America first, and the three others, and you're going to allow Congress and rich donors to get rid of the four of them? And America is going to sit back and watch that happen? No. No. Trump is completely wrong on that one. He really is. But on that note, what do you think?